All right, 3, 2, 1, go. So here we are. Thank you for joining me in another outstanding little commentary for the drawing. The drawing that you're seeing right now is just me putting some water onto the paper, the paper that was stuck to the other paper for some reason. So I just want to air it out a little bit, put some more water down. Props out to Bob Ross for giving me the inspiration to put water down first. So that when I put on, check this out. So when I put on the paint onto the water, it kind of like, it does this different thing where it like spreads out further rather than if it was just like dry paper.
Oh, kind of like watercolors.
Something a little bit like watercolor. Yeah, exactly. And so I just go for it. And so I'm seeing like a very nice sky. At this moment, I don't want to over pursue it because I'm like, okay, it's good enough as is. No need to chase perfection. And so I start putting in some like designs that I dreamed about. So it was like the two curved lines, the one straight line across, and then the solid line that stops the straight line, the perpendicular line. And so it reminded me of like Cheers, of like a bar or something, or other. Another thing that I wanted to do in this situation was kind of like put somebody getting sucked into a vortex, like a time loop, because I knew that the gel pen on, check that out, the gel pen on the wet paper was going to leave a lot of like a goo residue. Yeah, smudges. So then I leaned into it. And so going back to the
it's really intuitive of you.
Thank you. No, yeah, when you see an artist do it and then the vision applies, the only next step is to kind of pursue it to see if your vision is true, right? I mean, that goes with like baseball or archer or anything when you're trying to throw something. So going back to the art, I drew a self-insert with me in the hat looking kind of morose, thank you. And then this person next to me is going to be like super jovial. You can see he's got like a hand on the bar, he's got the other hand on the grog. You know, this dude is super lively and happy and essentially is taking up almost the center of the piece. Pay no attention to my bald spot. And so like I said,
this was your hair converges.
And so like I said, this is supposed to be like some sort of like bar scene. And so, of course, every bar scene needs a bartender. So here he comes. So I wanted to give him like kind of like a silly look, but also serious. So I gave him poofy hair, but then like dark, serious eyebrows, big nose, serious face, 5 o'clock shadow. And then I decided to give him a big old jawline to kind of confirm this idea that he is the center of attention.
That was really good, just like on the spot too.
Thank you. With the bow tie, now here's the thing. So if you look at the bow tie, the way that it's connected to the bartender's collar, you can tell it is a clip-on bow tie. Because usually,
I just thought it was just loosely tied, but that's a good point.
Yeah, ties can be loosely tied, but in my experience, bow ties, when you loosely tie them, they immediately undo themselves. But if it's like a clip-on bow tie, then that bow stays and you can undo it a little bit.
Very classy.
Thank you. And so when you're looking at a bar from this angle, you know, not from the drinker side but from the presenter side, you're going to see the med kit, you're going to see the little martini glasses underneath the bar. So I wanted to give that, you know, give my audience that inner perspective that they might not be privy to. Now, this part was totally inspired. I literally saw those 2 dots and the line on your little Hello Kitty thing, the peeps.
The Hello Kitty peep?
Yeah, and I wanted to do it again. And then I was gonna draw like a regular snake, like the one we saw in Zootopia 2, but I decided to kind of change it up and make like a sock puppet, like the kind that I've seen in Clash of Clans. And the sock puppet obviously has to go onto a hand. And who's the first person you think of when you're thinking of sock puppets? I know, mankind. So I decided to make it a big, beefy, bulky, not elderly, but like older man holding onto the sock puppet, almost like
Ooh.
talking to the sock puppet as if, there was a conversation going. So you can see I almost completely gave up on that little face next to the sock puppet, but I still committed in a way. It doesn't work perfectly, because the guy's elbow and the dude's face are like intertwined. But you'll see later when I put in some more color on the guy, on the sock puppet guy, it's going to make a bigger impact, and you're going to see the difference.
Those are some cool brushes.
Thank you. Now I can recognize that I'm using this brush the wrong way. I'm using the corner like that, and that's going to degrade the quality of the corner. So once I get some more brushes, then I'll be able to use specifically, the fine line brushes to kind of get those corners, and then use my fan brush for the bigger things like the sky. So going back to my roots, using the charcoal to apply the brown for the pillar that separates the bartender from the sock puppet guy.
That looks so nice that it's like so glossy with the water.
Yeah, no, the water is definitely providing this extra layer. And you can see that earlier I kind of went with another layer of water, which ended up smudging the bartender. That was a mistake. I'm sorry that happened. I'm really sorry that this guy is smudged right now. But you really can't do anything about it once it's done. So
maybe it's like a perspective thing. Like he's just blurry because you're focusing on the back too.
You're right. Yeah, like let's say the viewer is drunk, they would see the bartender as being blurry or shifting. So you're right. Like maybe I forgot who it was, but the guy who made Holy Mountain, he's quoted as saying, "If you want to recreate a trip, you don't recreate the sensation, you recreate the drug." And so this might be me recreating the drug. Speaking of recreating, so I'm putting this guy's shirt onto himself, and it's a pretty tight fit. Honestly, it makes him look even more buff than he already did. Like if you see the way that it like poofs out his chest like that, you see like there's a little bit right there.
I've never seen a guy with a bald spot that buff before.
You'd be surprised. There's some pretty buff bald men. I mean, you'd be surprised. And so at this point, I wanted to continue to color. The thing is I noticed that the painting is missing color. However, I already dirtied my one brush, and the brush is a broad stroke, so I have to use the chalk to kind of put in the detailed paintings. So I put gray on my hat, and then I use the excess gray to kind of accentuate the little like portal that the person is like being sucked into on that right hand side.
Imagine it's just the hat.
And so I continue to use my Sharpie to fill in the mouths, because I don't want it to just be a white canvas with some lines on it, and so filling in the eyebrows as well. Gonna look at that bartender's bow tie and figure, hey, we could use some more color. The big issue is that I don't want to put too much I don't want to use my markers too close to the paint, because then it'll suck up the pigment, and then it'll start spreading that around. And now I'm looking at those two lines, and I'm like, what can I do with them? And I'm looking at the red paint, and I'm thinking, I have a lot of red paint. I have some more space to put it on. So I decide that I'm going to firstly put some water onto those parts, so then the red paint can go more fluidly onto it. And then secondly, I really put some emphasis on following those two dark lines that I already put onto the canvas to kind of emphasize the
Subconsciously, the stars and stripes.
not necessarily, but 3, 2, 1.